Hello and welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about the business model canvas. You can take pretty much any business and you can break it down into these different components that we're going to go through here in a moment. And you can kind of get an idea for how it really works. It's a way of clarifying how businesses operate and to help you in knowing how your business operates. And so that's the main reason why anyone would do this, is to gain clarity about the business. And this is what the typical canvas looks like. Okay, it's going to be this one big rectangle, and within it you're going to have these other smaller rectangles. Now over here on these three, this is going to be everything about you, about your business, and all the stuff that you're doing in your business. All the stuff over here, and we'll be filling in these boxes here in a moment. This has to do, everything has to do with customers, okay? And then where the two meet in the middle is where the value exchange happens, or the value proposition. Then down here at the bottom will be where the money part of the business is taken into consideration. So let's kind of look at these things, and now we're going to fill in where these smaller rectangles are. When you look at the business, there's activities that the business does. It's the actual thing that they do. So in dentistry, it's, we do dental services. The key resources, these are the things that we need in order to make it happen, okay? And then over here, these are the business partners that we work with. These are not people that are employed by us. They're not, they don't get like a W-2, or they're not independent contractors. These are people that we need. For example, dental labs, dental supply houses. These are all things that we need from them in order to help us do what we do. Jump over here to the other side, all about the customers. You have the different customer segments. This means who is it that you're going towards. This may include things like the demographics of the people that you're targeting, or who it is that really frequents your business, being able to describe them. And you can build a thing called an empathy map, which will be a whole different video, that can go over that in more detail. But then you also want to know what kind of customer relationship do you have. Is this going to be online? Is it going to be face-to-face? Obviously in dentistry it is literally face-to-face. And channels, meaning how do we reach them? How do they find out about us? How can we deliver them, the product? So that's when you're looking at a business, all stuff that has to do with the customer. And then in the middle here is the value proposition. It's where the two meet. It's where we bring something of value, deliver it to the customer. The customer shows up here with, in this case, money, and they exchange that for what we do. Then down here at the bottom, you have to take into consideration where the money is coming from and where the money is going out. So that kind of gives you an idea of what a general business canvas is and how you would fill it in. If you do a search online, you can look at all the big companies and see how that, these are kind of broken out. So you kind of get a better idea of how it works. But since we're talking about a dental office, we're going to talk about that in more specifics. Here is kind of like another way of doing this, is a little bit more of a graphical display. Again, the activities you do, the resources you're using to get your job done, the people you're working with, the customer, the channels and how you get stuff there, the cost structures, and the revenue streams coming in. And then on top of all that, as just a side note, you have that box right here, and on the outside of this box is you have all the external forces that are working on it. So when you look at a business and the environment in which it works within, you can see there's a lot of components that go into trying to make decisions on which way one wants to go with their practice or with their business. So if we were to look at a dental practice, this is basically our dental practice. This is kind of how it works out. So we'll kind of take these in chunks. Let's go over here to what we do. Okay, we clean and fix teeth. We explain dental treatments, we schedule treatment, we collect from the patients, and we file for insurance. Those are all the different key activities we do in order to keep the business going forward. And then the resources that we have, obviously we have the dental office that we work with, we have the healthcare providers, we also have non-clinical staff that help with everything, and of course there's always the equipment that's part of the office. These are all the different resources we need in order to actually do the dental thing that we do. Our key partners are obviously going to be dental supply houses, labs, and even dental specialists that we refer to, and they refer patients back to us. Those are going to be key partners. If we go to this other side, we have the whole customer component. Basically for us, it's going to be locals, meaning people that are within about a 5-mile radius of our practice. That's where 90% or 95% of our patients come from. They're wanting their teeth cleaned, or they're wanting a urgent tooth care problem addressed. Okay. Obviously the relationship we have with them is personal, and the channels of how do we communicate to them or how they know about us: online, word of mouth, drive-by. We also educate in office about what we do. And then we can also, of course, contact or make ourselves available from an informational standpoint online by using social media platforms, YouTube, videos, Google, all those different things. And so that's it, that's channel. So in the middle, what is it that we're exchanging? Well, dental cleanings is one thing that we do. Urgent care with same-day treatment if possible. And then we can also do traditional and cosmetic dental treatments if you like. Down at the bottom, we have revenue, where it's coming in from. Hygiene actually is about 30% of our revenue. Restorative treatments is going to be about 69% or so, and then 1% is going to be from membership plans. Over here, our cost structures are obviously going to be all the big things we talk about when you look at a P&L statement. It's going to be things like staff, supplies, facilities, general expenses, administrative costs. Those are kind of the basic ideas of how this works. So this is basically your typical run-of-the-mill general dental practice. That's just doing the general typical bread and butter type of things. So why do we spend time on this? To reiterate, I said at the very beginning, is to gain clarity on how we operate and to prepare for the future so we can mentally test out different approaches. So when I also look at this, I consider this value proposition in the middle. People are always wanting to know, well, what's your mission statement, or what's your vision, and all these different things. You can use a business model canvas to actually address that. I say the thing in the middle is what you're delivering, the value you bring. That is your mission. Your mission, in my opinion, is to keep this main thing the main thing. That's what the mission is. You're in the middle of trying to reach customers, doing what you do, and in the middle, there's that exchange. That is the mission. That's what you're in business for. That's what people value you for. And so that is, I think, is the mission. So again, I think if you could work on just trying to increase this value, I think that makes the overall practice work much, much better. So if we take a look at what's Crosstimbers Dental, what is our mission? Okay, it's very simple. Show patients where they can go with their dental health, and then take them where they want to go. That's pretty much about it. We have all the ability to do all these dental treatments. They come in, wanting whatever it is that they want. It's our job, of course, as doctors, to show them what's possible, show them what's going on, and then whatever they want to do, that's what we'll do. So that's kind of the mission. It's taking this value proposition that we have and applying kind of not a slogan, but something that kind of captures it with just a sentence or two. Okay. Also, when you talk about vision is basically taking where you currently are with this set of all these different rectangles that fit inside this big rectangle of the canvas, and then the future. What would you change in any one of these things? Because you could change various things in here. For example, the future could be all these different things. You could increase the number of providers. That would be increasing the resources. You could appeal to, say, a specific group. Let's just say geriatric patients. That would be your patient, your customer demographics. You could get to a whole other different office. That's another different, different resource. You could bring an in-house lab. You could do implant placements. You could do sleep medicine. There's different things you could offer. I said cleanings and just fixing teeth. Well, we could add to that sleep medicine. That's another thing. You could put that over here on what you're trying to reach and some of the key activities of what we're doing. You could outsource a complete department, so say billing to somebody else. You could have multiple locations. You could do sedation. You could have patients that you're trying to gather not just from your local area, but you could try to gather them from a larger audience geographically by using social media. So these are all different things that you could do when you're talking about your vision for the future, is changing these different things inside these boxes and kind of playing out how that might work and how it might affect these other parts within this entire canvas. And then values is basically how the style or how you do this entire thing. How is that you work amongst yourselves? How is it that you work with your customers? What's the way in which you actually carry out some of these exchanges when it comes to the tactical parts of your practice? This is really what I think, if you want to think about values and mission and vision, all these different things. I think if you look at this business model canvas, it kind of helps guide that thinking so that you can come up with something that's coherent and clear. And that is the end. All right, thanks.